What is going on, everyone? It's Derek here today, bringing you guys another video. Thank you so much for tuning back in. And as you can see, we have Blucifer here. And if you watched yesterday's upload, you obviously could tell that we have some more issues going on with the car. And I want to go ahead and share with you what we found. Before we do that, I want to go ahead and take a quick second and just thank you all for the birthday wishes yesterday. And I also want to acknowledge the fact that I kind of handled the situation in yesterday's video kind of poorly. But on the other hand, in the back of my mind, I also knew the car is still messing up. The field trims are beyond terrible. So it's kind of one of those things. I do want to show you what we found. I'm going to kind of highlight some key points for you. There is a little issue to what I am about to show you which caused this. And that's going to be more or less the hard part to figure out as to why it did that. But let me grab a flashlight real quick. The first thing you may have noticed in yesterday's video was the uneven belt wear. On the top side of the belt, closer to the blower itself, on that edge, we have a nice wear line. And the second issue, if you actually look down, and you see you have both of those idler pulleys. You have the one right there to the left and the one down to the right. The wear line on that pulley seems to be sucked in. That's kind of the problem because that means the belt isn't perfectly aligned. But again, from this angle, you might be able to tell, looking at the belt, you know, you can see it's a smidge off. Now, as far as the noises, we did run a simple little test. So we took this, and while the car was running, we went ahead and we put it on each pulley. So we would put it right in the middle there and then put our ear at the end, and obviously sound is gonna travel through metal very good. And it seems as if, I believe it was this pulley, that idler pulley is completely blown and the bearings are just shot. The only pulley we really heard a tremendous amount of difference from is gonna be this top idler pulley right there. But not only do we have to focus on both of those idler pulleys, we have to focus on the belts because that's gonna tell us all. As far as the blower belt, that thing is shot. But coming down from this belt, if you go down to where the water pump belt is, underneath the belt, I saw there was a little gouge poking up in the middle of the belt. So it almost seems like something's wedged underneath there. So that has to be addressed as well. And pretty much, I'm not gonna cut any corners. We're gonna go and just redo this whole section, double check everything, make sure, you know, the belt clearance is good, make sure the belt is aligned properly. VMP was very generous enough to send me out all new parts for that, as far as idler pulleys and some gaskets and whatnot to change out. So that's definitely a plus. The first step is we have to take off this front bumper because I am going to be bringing the car to Brad's house. Brad has a 2-post lift. It makes life so much easier. And while the car is on the lift, I want to address the exhaust. Something is telling me to check the gaskets on the catalytic converter delete pipes for the Off-Road X. We're still getting that P219A code, and the O2 sensors are new. The O2 sensors are indeed working, but when I threw that pipe on over a year ago, that's the only time I've ever touched those bolts. You know, something as simple as a little exhaust leak could potentially be throwing my fuel trims off. I just want to make sure the car is dialed in. I want to make sure everything is good with it, and I just hate the fact that it's like we're going backwards with this thing now. Let's go ahead and begin the process of taking off this front bumper. Oh, and before we do that, shout out to the fam and shout out to Jordan. They hooked it up with some awesome birthday gifts. As you can see, we got our first ever electric impact Cobalt 3/8 drive. And this right here is game changer, as silly as it sounds. No more having to, you know, ratchet little things, and I'm excited to use this. And we also got a brand new Cobalt drill, and you can see we got 3 batteries. And with the drill, we got drill bit casing here. And I'm actually kind of stoked. This is the first time I'm ever gonna be using my jack, my new jack stands in my new garage. Tell you what, this beats jacking on the gravel driveway. All right, perfect. bumper off, I'm actually gonna go ahead and lower the car back down. I'm gonna tidy everything up. I think I'll be able to drive no problem. These might flap a little bit, but that's not too serious. Now that we got the bumper off the car, I'm actually gonna go ahead and load up a new tune that was sent to me. And this tune is just gonna be a slight revision. I don't think it's anything too serious. We're just gonna do a little trial and error and try to see if we can get these fuel trims to bounce back where they need to be, because they're obviously not right. And I guess it's just gonna be one of those things we try. It's not a guaranteed whatsoever, just because, you know, the tune has been looked over. For the previous tune, that is, has been looked over, it's checked out, and you know, I don't know. We might have something worse going on. We might have something that's causing the long terms in general, not the tune. But I am gonna go ahead and load this new tune on there. All right, the tune's done. Let's go ahead and start this up. Little chirp out of there. So while this warms up, we're probably not gonna see a huge improvement on the fuel trims right now, because every time we reset the tune, the car would drive fine. It's when it's driven about 3 to 5 days and it's driven hard, they start to climb and stack, and that's where, you know, we get our results in the long-term fuel trim. So I'm not expecting anything to be better or fixed right now. It has to be driven a lot, and unfortunately we're not capable of doing that or data logging it technically because of our pulley issue. We don't want that belt snapping, I don't want to get stranded, and we just can't give it its full potential right now, obviously. I'm gonna let this thing warm up for a bit, tidy everything up, and we're gonna head right to Brad's house. I can definitely hear it starting to chirp away. I mean, it's obvious we have belt wear and it's rubbing where it's not supposed to be, so nothing new. Can't hear a single peep coming from that pulley or the belt. So I could have been driving like this for a hot minute and never even realized. And what's crazy to me is the fact that this is like a rinse and repeat type cycle. The car feels freaking fantastic right now. It's just driving so well. It's so pronounced. It's, you know, responsive. It's not hiccuping. It's not doing that weird popping thing. It just feels good. Scraped a little something. Oh yeah, that's payback for the fridge footage. So I was just getting them up to speed on everything, caught up, and telling them about the pulley. Oh, there you go. Take a look at this wear on the belt, and even on this side right here, you can see it is just really smooth, really like rugged. Let's take a look and see what that was. That nipple that was in the belt, right here. Is it anything? It's something lodged in there. A piece of rock or metal. You guys can see that. And that's the same bulge that I was seeing right there. This is the side that was smoothed down.
Starting to fray. Got a little piece of
oh yeah. Yep. See that? Now you're gonna take the water pump pulley off. that. Now for idler pulley number 1. And this is the pulley that we saw the uneven wear on. This is the one we think is...
Yeah,
whoa.
She got all kinds of belt material.
If you take a look inside, there's all that belt material. All that.
There may be some grease in there too.
Look at that, it's all coming out, just chunks. So now we're getting down to the bracket. There's the bracket. Oh, is that all belt?
Oh, yeah, belt and grease, bro.
Wow. Ow, motherfucker. So what we're also thinking about doing, guys, is that bracket is supposed to work around this nipple, and if you buy a VMP kit, or one of the older kits that is, you are supposed to grind this down. And there is a little notch there, but unfortunately that notch isn't enough. So we are gonna go and grind this down just to say we did it and completely factor that out once we reassemble everything. I think this is gonna be a huge part of our problem. So this is our front pulley right here. You can see this dull part is gonna be the amount of lip that the belt, you know, wasn't catching. So this is very nice looking. But if you look at this, and I've touched it, you can see that fine line. It's much bigger. It's like double the size. So
riding to the back.
yeah, the belt was riding. Yep, belt was riding to the back. Now we're just pulling the tubes and clamps off the heat exchanger pump, and we're gonna drain all the coolant because we have some new fittings that are going on to the heat exchanger as well. Now that the coolant's all emptied out, if you come up here, you can see we have these 2 plastic fittings, and VMP actually manufactured some new aluminum ones, and they sent those out to me. So both of these fittings are gonna come off, and the aluminums are gonna go back on. This way it'll just prevent any leaks, and we do have a tiny seep in this bottom one. So fittings are now off, and we have everything over here on the table. And as far as today, guys, that is gonna go ahead and conclude today's video. I have to go and grab all the pieces. I have new idler pulleys, we have new fittings going in, and some other little things such as the belts and whatnot. As soon as we get all that stuff installed, you know, we'll pretty much be smooth sailing from there as far as, you know, the new parts. We just gotta make sure that the pulleys align properly so our belt is perfectly straight with everything else, so we can avoid all that wear and tear. I just think this pulley was completely destroyed to all the like the belt residue and stuff, and you know, you can even shake it and hear the bearing over this one, and when you spin it, it's much louder. So I think that's initially our problem. Get your limping ass out of here.
I gotta get a head start.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Shout out to Brad for giving me a hand again. And yeah, we're gonna pick this up tomorrow. Hopefully I'll have a video based on this tomorrow. I mean, he's trucking along with this, and I just gotta go get the parts. But if you want to enter into Brad's East Coast Customs giveaway, he's actually giving away that tractor over there. So just comment down below and I'll pick a random winner at the end of this video. But until next time, we'll see you later.